Welcome back to Sika News, brought to you by the Sika Strength app. Now, the Enhanced Games continues to roll on and gathers a interesting series of athletes that we can have a look at first in terms of weightlifting. Most notable is Arlene Mendes, who is probably, in our opinion, the most likely to break a meaningful world record, both on the snatch and the clean and jerk. He's attempted a clean and jerk world record in the 85 kilo class a couple of years ago. Hasn't been quite the same as that. Now, that was probably about 8 years ago at this stage, but there's been some issues in the meantime. Allegedly offering 250k snatch, 250,000 for clean and jerk. This is all going to go down in May in Las Vegas for a total world record bonus $500,000. At the same time, we've got Hafthor Bjornsson, who has been offered $250,000 to break his world record, which I assume is in suit and straps. And then we've got a series of very talented athletes across different sports, and they seem to be getting more talented people. We've got Cody Miller, for example. He's an Olympic Games medalist in the 4x100 meter relay, American record holder. Obviously, America takes swimming incredibly seriously, as does several other countries. It's a very, very competitive sport. World champion in the short course, world champion in the long course 2 times. He's being offered 250,000 in a 50 meter breaststroke, 100 meter breaststroke, 250,000 for the world record bonus. We've got Fred Curley, who has been talking schmack, and again, an Olympic finalist, very close in the Paris Olympics. So it must be said that they are undoubtedly gathering a series of athletes to them on some specific sports. What we were originally promised, I suppose, if you were to go by the original rhetoric, was that we were promised it would be like a rival for the Olympic Games. That they would be athlete villages almost, to be these huge stadiums, and it would be, that's the natural Olympics, and this is the enhanced game Olympics. But what we're kind of seeing now, really, or what we've seen so far, and until we see different come May 24th, is essentially demonstrations of performance. Like, they're not actually competitions. It's not 5 weightlifters compete against each other. It's aiming to beat world records. Now, what this seems to be coming down to is essentially use of their TRT. So they're essentially selling TRT, which, look, we're all businesses here, and we sell our programs and our apps and our coaching, but what it's kind of coming down to is it's supported by this, and who knows what else, really. And then these athletes are going to break these world records, or attempt to break them, largely in isolation.
Yeah. Look, I think that we were big proponents of this when it came on the scene first few years ago.
No.
I was excited to hear about the Enhanced Games a few years ago.
We were very interested, but both of us were very
skeptical.
And a lot of people, not just us, not to pretend like we were the only people who were like, well, actually, a lot of people are like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
And it turns out most people seem to have been right.
And it turns out this is a TRT company using influencer marketing very well.
That's a great way of putting it, actually.
I think it's the only way you can describe what's happening at the moment. You're essentially getting some of the most poorly funded and poorly looked after athletes in professional sport. Many of these athletes would barely have been able to consider themselves professional athletes and would have been living off stipends of differing amounts, having to have discount codes for protein powder, although they're professional athletes, training their entire lives, some of the most talented humans in the world, and they essentially finish out their career with nothing, right? Or finishing out their career with a government pension, maybe some sports person's relief in terms of getting their tax back from over the years. But you cannot look at many of the athletes in this group and say that they're doing this for the goodness of sport, or they're doing this because they want to somehow kind of lift the veil on human performance.
Like one giant leap for superhumanity?
Yeah, it certainly isn't one giant leap for superhumanity. A lot of what this is it's the opportunity just to have the chance to make a good chunk of cash. In terms of weightlifters, particularly weightlifters in the Western hemisphere, the idea of making $250,000 or $500,000 is absolutely an obscene amount of money. Like, it's not, there are fitness influencers on there who are making that every month. And as professional weightlifters and professional athletes, many of these people wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to make that kind of money in their career. And so I think you're looking at a quite vulnerable group of athletes being given the opportunity now to train for something and to make some money off it and utilize all the talents they've developed over the course of their careers. But it has a little bit of a dirty taint to me at the moment.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, get the bag, guys.
Absolutely.
Lads,
do what you need to do.
Get the bag. So no athlete would I judge in any way, shape, or fashion whatsoever. So just to be clear, incredibly supportive of any of these athletes going and doing this. Any of these athletes, use your body.
Yeah.
If you can make that money snatching 180 kilos, whatever it is, more power to you. Absolutely. That's without a doubt. I would not be in any way judging of those athletes, and I don't think you would be either.
No.
Just confirm that for the record there. What,
I'm not judging anyone.
What is interesting, for example, like, so if it was originally touted to be a kind of competitor to the Olympics, what is Hafthor Bjornsson doing there? Respectfully to Hafthor, who we've talked about multiple times. A fantastic athlete, one of the best, strongest people to ever live. Why is he going doing a suited figure of 8 strapped deadlift at this event? Like, this is just a showcase thing, and there's funny things going on, like why isn't Anton Plesnoy or Gabrielson Crane involved in it? There was talks of it if you've tested positive before, but I'm pretty sure Hafthor Bjornsson might have dabbled in TRT once or twice.
I'm pretty sure a number of the weightlifters they've signed at this point have been popped.
Well, we all know the score as well. Like, we know what's going on with a lot of athletes. It's not exactly like it's a clean slate for everyone involved in any of these sports, if we're being really honest with ourselves. Now, some of them have definitely been clean before, of course. Like, not everybody is absolutely was on the gas before or taking gear, but it's not like every single person coming in here is on a clean slate and they're just going to be using those products. Now, I know the weightlifters have started their training camp in Abu Dhabi for some reason. I'm not sure where the rest of the teams are training, but they've gotten a lot of athletes so far signed. My concern here is, right, so everyone can't be a winner, right? But you certainly can't go back to competing elsewhere after this. So if you don't get to 250,000, is there any guarantee they're actually going to give that money to everyone? Or do we know for sure that money is going to be on show for them and that they're going to get it? And so someone's going to win, and if you get that money, that's fantastic. Well, what if you don't win? Or where'd you go from there? Are you paying a stipend? What happens after? Everybody can't get the gold medal or break the world record. Or what if all these athletes, but none of them exceed the world records?
But that's the thing. I think it's a pretty safe bet, right? If you look at something like the Olympic Games, if you look at the World Championships that are on every year, the amount of all-time world records that are broken is actually very, very small. So, like, sure, they have an amazing stable of athletes, some incredibly talented people in the room who'll be doing this showcase. Like, you can't really call it a competition. It's just basically a kind of max out with them. But your bet on having to pay out every single person $250,000 or $500,000 is zero. Like, there's absolutely no way that's going to happen. And so there is going to be the vast majority of the athletes left behind without getting paid that.
Unless those athletes are getting paid currently, which I don't know about. Nobody said anything. But even right now, I don't know if Arlie Mendes is in shape for world records. Like, what world records are going to go off of, what weight classes they're going to use. Like, this is currently just the end of January, and they've started their camp May 24th, February, March, April, May. Arlie's super talented. So there's a very good chance if he's on full gas that he can get there, and I'd love to see it for him personally. I'd be very happy for him to get the bag of cash. Because he was in a great position before weightlifting, when he had him 2017 in America. I think he attempted a 221. Like, he's a great potential to show, and I'm certainly still capable of that. But what does this mean for the rest of the sports and the other aspects? It remains to be seen what will happen on May the 24th.
My worry is, and I think this is valid, a lot of these athletes, as you mentioned earlier, are coming towards the end of their career, and they still have some great years left in them, I've absolutely no doubt. But as well as coming towards the end of their career, hard careers of very, very hard training and competition schedules, they're also not necessarily going to have access to the people they might have had access to in their national teams. And that's in terms of sports doctors, that's in terms of surgeons, that's in terms of everybody who helps them get to those places. I think a lot of these guys are going to be out on their own, for want of a better term. And they're also going to be in some way restricted to, I assume, the TRT you see the TRT clinic using. And there's a lot of other PEDs out there that aren't testosterone based.
Well, I mean, if I was to put on my big tinfoil hat again, I would say there's no restrictions.
They just do whatever they want.
Of course, if I was doing influencer marketing like this,
Yes.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, just take the TRT.
Yeah.
You'd be like, a gram and a half, yeah, we can get you a gram and a half, no butters. Like, why would you limit to them?
Yes.
Like, if it's a global scale thing here, you'd be getting athletes to sign NDAs. You'd be getting them to say, you know, do whatever you want. You mightn't even necessarily have to tell them do something. You might be like, you have to take this. It could literally be something like, here is a fridge and a cabinet full of whatever you need, no problem. That's the way I'd be looking at this if I was had my massive tinfoil hat on.
Yes. Now, I do want to mention one more thing, that I think the showcase element of this is kind of BS. Like, not to be calling anyone out or anything like that, but going and sprinting a race on your own on a track without other people around you, or going and lifting weights in a non-competition environment is a hell of a lot easier than doing that at competition on a certain date where you have to get it done. You're competing against other people. Those people's attempts are changing and people are moving, so you might only have 2 minutes or 1 minute or 5 minutes between your attempts. And considering that to be the same as the adult world record in whatever that sport is not honest or open or in any way true, right? So in the case of swimming, I know they said there was a world record broken in swimming. That world record couldn't be less similar to what you're seeing someone hitting at the Olympic Games. When they're in a pool full of other people, all that water is being disturbed all the time. All of the crowd is shouting to you or against you or whatever. It's just an incredibly different atmosphere.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's insane.
That's not just TRT.
No, that's certainly not just TRT.
Is it?
No.
What the fuck? It's like, yeah, it's turning out to be essentially influencer marketing. Like, it's a flash mob from what I can see. Not to be talking shit again on the individual.
Like, the best we could have hoped was from very, very rich individuals from some country somewhere who just wanted to see this happen. And that's what I thought it was at the start. In some way, I thought there was an element of sports washing might have been going on. But it appears now that it's just good old-fashioned sales.
Which, selling a product isn't the problem. We do want to reiterate, we're not being hypocrites
but don't
here.
sell us the dream.
Well, this was, to be honest, touted as something different, and now it's not turning out to be that. We'll wait and see what happens on May 24th. Obviously, we'll have a look at the results. I'll have a look at the weightlifting for sure. We want to see what people hit like Arlie. But after that, I don't know. And like, who can buy the TRT? How's it setting up? Is it just online? Can I get it, for example? How do I get it? Is that, how do you
Did you reserve early access?
I'm going to do it now. Yeah. Well, let's wait and see how it goes. I'm interested to see what the lifters hit. And again, I'm happy again for anyone to get a bag of cash, because I'm all for athletes being supported. And if you spent your 15 years of your life training for 20, 30, 40,000 euro or dollars or Australian dollars or whatever, and now you have suddenly a chance to make $500,000 for doing something that you're a pro at. Like, so happy for those athletes to get that. I would never be judging them for that. So anyone who joins, I'm like, cool. But for the whole thing as an optic, it's not what we were sold it as. But let's see.
Maybe they have to do this to kind of get the ball rolling, and maybe bigger events will come.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be closer to a games where you're actually having a competition. Maybe this is just the first few iterations of it.
Yeah, like maybe I'm willing to concede on that point. I'm definitely willing to be like, okay, maybe they have to do this big thing and get Hafthor there because he's a big name. Yeah. And then people see Hafthor doing it and you're like, okay, let's see how this goes. We can, make something of this and then try to do the bigger games. But yeah.
I'll tell you what my concern is.
What?
Aside from all the other concerns you just talked about, I'm concerned that we're going to see manipulation of other rules here, leading to more apparently world records. So we're going to see change in track conditions. Like, we'll have already seen a change in pool conditions where there's nobody in the pool with them. we might see positive airflow in the running events, whatever it is. And then suddenly people are like, well, look at all these incredible differences, you know. Whereas there is a hell of a lot of things that go into like technological doping, environmental doping, making the environment so much better for the athlete to compete in that it's just in no way going to in any way resemble what the original event was.
Oh, but I mean, even the technology and swimming suits is a
Exactly.
ongoing controversy for swimmers at different points.
Yeah, so are they going to have the shark skin suits again? Like, are
Yeah.
they? Will that suddenly be allowed because it's the enhanced games? You know, all of these things.
Yeah.
That would be a major concern of mine because doping, in the purest sense of a term of like physiological enhancement, is one thing.
Mhm.
Bringing in technological doping, like technological doping isn't a new thing, right? It's look at something like cycling in the 80s and 90s and look at how strict they have to be on bike regulations. It's not a new thing, but they're very, very close to stepping over this mark now.
Now, I will say something. If they were like, "Hey, Sika Strength, will you comment on the weightlifting? We'll pay you." Would be obviously, you would say, "Yeah, obviously." Like, I would have no problem, you know.
Get
But
my passport.
I'm no better than the budgie smuggling athlete. Like, I'll do it. Like, we'll both do it, no problem. If you'll know, there won't be signs, but you'll know if we'll be commenting. But I doubt they will because we just talk shit, and I don't think they'd want
Yeah,
us.
what? Save this video while you still can.
Nah,